trying to get the doll to move the right way, for him to put his hand on my head and lift his other hand up or whatever. That took like 40 tries and 2.5 hours to like get the right take. So for, you know, the actors in the film, we really had to do the same thing over and over and over again, which is hard to stay convincing when you've done something 30 times in a row. So there were challenges. There still are with making that movie. I know, like, the people that are worked on the Chucky movies say we get 2 takes and the doll gets 30. So.
What was your favorite movie to work on? Was it the first one or the second one?
The second one I was a little more comfortable with acting, and I was a little older, and but the first one I had better relations with the people that were in the movie, and it was more exciting, and it was brand new, and I didn't feel as much pressure because I was 6 years old. Like, I knew it was a big deal, and I had to do well, but it was a lot of fun. The second one felt a little more like work, and I knew that I was like the #1 billing actor. Like, I was the first billing in that movie, and I knew there was a lot of responsibility on me for it to be good. But I didn't have as close a relationships. I did with Christina Leese, who played my sister in the second one, my foster sister. She was great, but in the first film, everybody was really close. That made it seemed at the time. So.
How did you get discovered?
Well, I didn't get discovered really like because of Child's Play. I was already doing a little bit of television work and print work and commercials in New York City. I was on As the World Turns for a little while, which is a soap opera, and I had just been actively auditioning child actor in New York City at that time. So Chucky, they auditioned in New York and in Los Angeles. So it was there were a lot of kids that auditioned for it, but I just got lucky. I guess I got a couple callbacks, and then they sent me out to California to audition against 2 kids. It was me and the 2 of them, and my mother was there for the audition, which was was a rare thing. Like, even at that age, we would go in on our own, and like mother would stay outside. But she was actually in the room for that audition, and we did a new scene. It was that scene where I say the line, yes, Chucky said Aunt Maggie was a real bitch and got what she deserved. And when I got up to that line, I froze up, and I stopped, and I said, I don't remember the lines, and they're like, okay, well, let's start again. We got to it, and I froze up again, and I got up, and I ran out of the room, and I went and locked myself in the bathroom. I was 6 years old, and I was like crying, and I was upset because I didn't want to say bitch in front of my mother. So they went back and they told the director, the producers that were there, no, he knows all the lines, he just didn't want to say that. And I had actually convinced them that I forgot the lines. So they said, oh, he can act, he fooled us. So that
Makes
kind
you
of
feel
helped me
any
get
better.
the role.
I've seen 12-year-olds run out of the room because they forgot lines.
Yeah. I mean, it was, well, I knew all the lines for the first film incredibly well. I actually had the entire script memorized, all my lines, all everybody else's lines, to the point where if someone ad-libbed a little bit, I'd be like, no, that's not how it goes. It's okay, no, it's all right. So, yeah. What else you guys want to know?
Any fun stories from set that you could share?
Well, the puppeteers had a great time. The ones that were working on Chucky, they had all kinds of little toys and things to try to scare people with. We were in MGM Studios in Culver City in in LA. There was we were on this old set, and I know that they put this with these werewolf eyes deep in the little space in this set, and they had this howling thing. So when you walked by, it was on a sensor, and it would howl, and his eyes would light up. Things like that they did with all their little toys as often as they could. And plus, I'm pretty sure that my memory is a little foggy, but I'm pretty sure the puppeteers made Chucky do some rather perverted things whenever they had the opportunity to. Because, you know, why wouldn't you? So, yep. What else do you guys want to know?
Do you watch a lot of horror movies?
I actually don't watch a lot of horror movies. I do about 15 conventions or appearances a year, somewhere around there, and most of them are horror related. So I've met everybody in every horror movie ever, and I have not seen most of their movies. I've known them for like 10 years, a lot of them. I've never seen anything like them. It's like embarrassing how little I know about horror films. When most of the people that I meet, like, you know, like, oh, you were the third death in the fourth movie, and like, yeah, whatever. So, what else?
Favorite movie genre?
Comedy, really. I mean, I like I like dramatic series on TV a lot, like, you know, like shows like The Sopranos, and like Oz, like ongoing television dramas I like a lot. But for movies and in general, I like comedies the most. Yep.
Do you like Marvel?
No, I'm not really a big comic guy in general. I never had comics when I was a kid. I was never. I mean, they're exciting movies to watch. You know, like, I mean, I can enjoy it as an action film, but I don't know like the backstory of these characters at all. Like, and it's funny because this is the third weekend in a row that I've been at kind of like a comic type based convention. I don't know that this is exactly, but it kind of is. I guess it is. Science fiction, but you know, there's a lot of like cosplay and anime stuff still that I'm seeing, and video game stuff that I'm seeing, and this is the third one of those in a row, and I don't know anything. I don't know any of these things at all. And a lot of the cosplays too, people generally dress up as like really obscure. Like the more obscure their costume, the better it is. And yet amongst you guys, it's none of it's obscure because you all know every character from every. That's what it seemed to me, especially when I was out in Tulsa. It was like a competition to see who could be the most obscure video game character. So, what else?
What kind of projects are you working on now?
I own a recording studio in Clearwater, Florida. I record bands and musicians and vocalists, and do audio mixing and mastering, and I do sound for film, audio editing, and sound effects, and ADR work, and